Hi everyone, I'm Jimmy, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, thank you so much for supporting us all this while. So, in today's video, we'll be looking into something actually very disruptive, in a sense, bigger than the cryptocurrency and the tech bubble right now. Something that we could even redefine the way we look at the whole financial system. Without further ado, we shall dive deep into the digital currency and do a little quick check-in on their progress for various countries. So, to set things straight, digital currency is not electronic currency, although it's quite confusing and paradoxical in a sense. Electronic currency is in fact what we are very familiar with and masters of utilizing it on a daily basis. From contactless payment to mobile banking, this is the electronic currency that we are very familiar with. But the major difference is that digital currencies almost, or should I say, will never become physical dollars. Fiat money, if I were to put it this way, that electronic currencies could be converted into cold hard cash through withdrawing from ATMs. Up till now, very interestingly, unregulated and the keyword decentralized currencies created by private entities like the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto and this Russian wonder kid here have beaten the Goliaths, regulators and institutions in creating one of the world's most wonderful products of the 21st century. This led to the outflows of capital into this elusive cryptocurrency sector with a combined market cap of approximately 2 trillion if we were to count every single cryptocurrency that can be publicly traded on crypto exchanges. We haven't even taken into account the valuation of those digital assets, NFTs. If you haven't watched our latest coverage of this topic, you can do so with the link on the top right of this video. Well, better late than never. Governments and financial institutions around the world are now looking into creating the digital version of their own fiat currency to reel things in. Or have they? In China, the People's Bank of China has been spearheading works on the digital yuan, a project that they have been working on since 2014, back in those days where the price of Bitcoin was actually a fraction of what it is today. In the US, the Federal Reserve and MIT are jointly conducting research into a central bank digital currency through Project Hamilton, with many articles reporting it at the start of this year. Outside these two mega giants, 6 other central banks, namely Bank of Canada, England, Japan, European Central Bank, Zurich Riksbank, and the Swiss National Bank published a report at the end of last year, with the Bank for International Settlement seemingly mulling over the feasibility of such a publicly available digital currency. To evaluate the efficacy of the respective rollouts of this digital currency, you gotta first understand how to plan effectively. According to the Kaplan Financial Knowledge Bank, we put this diagram with regards to its strategic planning. But to sum it up, its creation of the product, which constitutes all these before rolling out for beta trial, feedback, and revision before going back the loop for wider adoption, and lastly, implementation upon several rounds of this feedback loop, in which all the intricate details like legislation, channels of distribution, further extension could be possible areas to square off in this entire feedback loop. So, to put the respective countries in this entire loop, China seems to be the one leading the pack, where it has gone through a few times of this feedback loop. Over the Lunar New Year this year, China has been actively handing out $10 million worth of digital yuan in packets of 200 yuan for selected offline purchases or through JD.com. This comes after 2 successful trials of circulating digital yuan in Suzhou and subsequently Shenzhen. A combined $30 million worth of digital yuan dispersed through lottery, where the second trial, JD.com facilitated its distribution and consumer purchase on its shopping platform. Moving forward, it's making a huge leap to try and introduce digital currency to foreign athletes and visitors in the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. This is where the United States and the rest of the world seems to be perpetually stuck in the first loop, not being able to make it past the plan and implementation strategy phase. Based on a 2020 survey from the Bank for International Settlements, nearly every central bank in the world at least did some work on these digital currencies. Around 60% of them are working on proof of concept testing, though just 14% have actually launched a pilot program or are in development. Well, it's pretty obvious which countries constitute that 14%. United States Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell made his stance clear that the United States need not be the first country to issue a digital dollar, but it has to get it right with all the technical issues and policy questions, explicitly mentioning the involvement of the Congress, and the support from the people in a virtual event held by the Bank for International Settlements on the central bank digital innovation. The European Central Bank, a study conducted, received 8,200 responses, of which 94% are from private citizens, expressed interest in an offline digital euro. Despite the need for privacy, around a quarter of the responses stated their preference for faster and cheaper cross-border payments and ability to utilize it outside of euro with end-user solutions consisting of smart cards or a secure element in smartphones to facilitate cash-like features. This will put them somewhere around here on the chart, though for detailed findings and plans, do check out the report from ECB in the links below. More locally, Singapore has also recently concluded its exploration on the use of distributed ledger technology at the end of last year. Codenamed Project Ubin, is a 5-year journey on experimentation on blockchain technology with a payment network prototype developed together with JP Morgan and Temasek. After reading through this report and looking at some of the figures that they provide, I'm actually quite excited and hopeful that this is going to be one of the big revolutionary projects in our tiny little red dot. There are so many things that I would want to share about in this 80-page summary, but there's so little time left, so I guess that will be for another video. Now that you know who is in front of who, well, does that even matter in the first place? This isn't some first mover advantage concept whereby the first person who enters the market gets to capture it all anyway. Money is still a dynamic concept. I mean, just look at the tens of thousands of currency fluctuations between different countries 24/7, whereby it involves multilateral agreements between the respective Goliaths, and of course the smaller ones would have to be facilitated as well, such that the transactions will be efficient and safe. Well, one thing's for sure, the buzzwords of these days, such as privacy and security, would still be relevant as multiple data security breaches by various organizations in these articles already have devastating impacts on their companies, reflecting in their stock price as well. Imagine countries making the headlines instead of the former. Before we end this video, it must be clear that digital currencies are not supposed to replace fiat. It's not like cryptocurrencies where they exist as a form of competition and pegged to fiat valuations just so that the invisible hand of the market can exist and push up the price of cryptocurrency or the other. It's rather to replace the current circulation of cash, all those cash and coins that have traditionally taken up all these logistics and manpower resources, which could be easily replaced with a couple of supercomputers and customer service receptionists in the near future to facilitate transactions. The up and coming digital banking system very well might be a preview of what's to come. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed our content, please do help us by smashing the like button, and we'll see you next time, and please invest safe.
Ever since the day that you